How do you know that you've become the person that you have always dreamed of being? How do you know that you've become your best self? When do you become the person that you want to be? I think this is a complicated question because when it comes to becoming our dream selves, I feel like the bar is always moving. Like what I thought as my dream self, like how I would have described my dream self 3 years ago, let's say, is very different than how I would describe her today. And it's probably going to be very different from how I describe her like a year from now. And so the bar of like what that means and what you have to do to get there and the criteria that you have to meet to become that person are always changing and are always evolving, and the goalpost just keeps like moving further and further and further away. And so like at what point do you say, yes, today I am the person that I want to become, that I've always wanted to become? Or like the person, or today I am the person that I've wanted to become like I don't know, like 6 months ago, right? And so I think that on one hand, it's good to have goals for yourself, and it's good to have desires that you are integrating into your personality and that you're going after. I think that's a great thing, and I think that you should always have goals, unless you're like, I don't know, over the age of 80, like 80 and above. Like if I meet an 80-year-old tomorrow and he says that he doesn't have any goals for the next year, that wouldn't be concerning to me. But for everybody else, I think that like having goals and having big dreams for yourself is a great thing. But at some point, does that become like a never-ending pursuit that like never ends, and you never get to become the best version of yourself because that definition keeps becoming more and more and more complex as time goes on. And so like let's say, for example, a few years ago, I would have considered my dream self to be a lot to have a lot of the characteristics that I have now and a lot of the milestones that I have right now. For example, like I've already published 2 books, right? Like to my like mind, if you would have told me that 3 years ago, I would have like been super impressed with myself. And I've like got into pretty good shape, and I'm like investing into my health and like working hard at the gym, and my running pace has improved and my health habits have improved, and I'm writing essays for my 3rd book at a crazy speed that I've never been able to do before because I have so many great ideas. And the same is true for YouTube. I've been filming a lot of YouTube videos. I've been filming a video a day essentially, and if you would have asked me what, like 3 years ago, let's say, what my ideal self is, I would have told you exactly those things. Like a woman that can do all of these things, like somebody that's already published 2 books and is working on a 3rd, somebody that's like feels really passionate about her work, somebody that takes really good care of herself, somebody that heavily invests in her health, somebody that like, I don't like all of the things that I just mentioned, right? I would have considered that to be my dream self. Do I consider that to be my dream self right this second? No, because the goal, the finish line keeps moving further and further away, and like what I would consider now to be my dream self looks very different, and it requires like a lot of other things to happen that haven't happened yet, right? And once I get there and once I have those things, I'll probably think that my dream self has all of these other goals and so on and so forth that she's pursuing. And it's kind of like a never ending hamster wheel where what you would consider to be your ideal self or your dream self just keeps changing and evolving as you're changing and you're evolving and as your goals change and as your desires change. And so I think at some point in time, like maybe the next time that you reach a goal or you reach a certain milestone, don't forget to celebrate that. Like, don't forget that X number of months ago or X number of years ago, this accomplishment that you just had would have been a signal to you that you are your dream self, right? And so take a moment to stop and to really congratulate yourself and celebrate yourself for every milestone and for everything that you're doing now, because you really are your past self's dream girl or like dream man. You know what I mean? Like you are already that now. And so I think that's a beautiful thing, and it should be celebrated if we allow ourselves to do that and not just rush into, like automatically start rushing into what's the next thing, what's the next thing, what's the next goal, what's the next version of me that I want to become, what's the next thing. Like, take the time to like look around, like look at your life right now, and you might be amazed. Like, imagine telling your 10-year-old self about the life that you're living now. They would be completely mind blown. They'd be like, whoa, you get to do all of these things? That's crazy. I'm so proud of you, right? That's probably true. But we never think of it that way, and we are just constantly rushing through life and always trying to get the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so how do you know that you've become the person that you want to be? I would say that like keeping a journal, I think, would help with this, and like writing down very clear in your journal what you would consider to be your dream girl at this point, or like your best self. I keep saying girl because I'm a girl, right? But like, this is not gender specific, obviously. Your best self. What would it take to become your best self? And write that criteria down clearly, and then like bookmark that page and come back to it. And a few months from now or a few years from now, like when you feel like you've achieved all of those things, really take the time to celebrate and take the time to acknowledge that you became the best version of yourself that you imagined in 2026. And I think journaling is a great way to track all of this progress that we're making that might seem, invisible from the outside. I mean, it has been for me. Journaling has been a huge thing for me. I forced myself to write 3 pages every single morning. I got the idea when I read The Artist's Way, and I learned about morning pages and how they can unlock your creativity. And so, like me being a writer, of course I wanted that, and I started doing it, and I've been doing it for many, many years. and it's become a really great way to track my progress. And I want to start celebrating these like little milestones that I keep noticing in my life, because I feel like I am so focused on the next thing and the next thing, and I've been this way my whole life. Like, I've always been chasing the next thing, and I don't take the time to stop and to think like, yeah, this milestone, like, this is a big one. You know what I mean? And really like go and do something nice for myself, and really like take the time to sit in gratitude for myself and for like all the work that I've did and all the things that had to happen and the person that I've had to become to reach these milestones to begin with, right? Like, that's a beautiful way of looking at your life right now, because it helps you to become more present and more grateful for what you do have and the goals that you are hitting and the milestones that you are achieving like already today. Because if you really sat down with your journal and you really thought about it, I bet you could come up with quite a few things that you've achieved recently, or that you're like in the middle of achieving now, that your past self would have seen as a great reason for celebration. And so if this topic and if my channel resonates with you, I wanted to let you know that I published my second book recently. It's called Mastering the Middle. And in this book, I talk about the process of becoming the person that you need to be in order to get your desires and get your goals. Because there's always a gap between the time that we set the goal and the time that we get the goal. And this book describes what to do in that gap of time and how to use that time to the best of your ability. Because believe it or not, the middle is not supposed to be a passive time. Like, the middle is not supposed to be a time where you sit around and you're waiting for stuff to come to you, or you're waiting for stuff to happen, or you're waiting for for the circumstances in your life to change. That's not what the middle is about. And if you approach the middle from that perspective, you're going to be stuck in the middle for a very long time. And so I think this book is a great guide for people that are feeling lost and that want to shorten the gap between their desire and their goals. And I hope that you check it out. I will leave the link for the book in the description box below. And thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.